So let's talk about IBS, also known as irritable bowel syndrome. Now you're probably wondering why I have this graphic up on the screen. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. But first, let me share a story about a question I had at one of my recent live lectures. A woman from the audience raised her hand and said, I'm doing everything right. I'm taking X, Y, and Z, things like prebiotics, probiotics, etc. But yet I'm still having all of these symptoms. None of them are helping. She also said she's eating the right things. So literally she says, I'm doing all the right things, yet I still have all these problems. So it's a great question, and it's a question that I get often because people are told or they're taught, whether it's from their providers, if they go to a specialist, they say take more fiber because that's going to help with your constipation. Or they see a commercial for a probiotic yogurt or a probiotic supplement. And the commercial makes it sound like, oh, you just take our supplements, take our pills, and everything's going to be all better. So between what they're being told by their providers, their doctors, and what they're being taught through their companies or through marketing, they get the idea that if they just take these things, then it should help. But yet they do all of this stuff, and they're still having symptoms. So the problem there is that IBS isn't really a diagnosis, and it has many different causes. Because IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, it doesn't really tell you what the cause is. It just tells you that there's a variety of symptoms. It could be constipation, could be stomach pain, bloating, frequent diarrhea. So it just means that your bowel's irritable. It doesn't tell us anything about the cause. So let's go back to the diagram here for a second. Okay, so here are the broad categories of the potential root causes for IBS, or triggers or reasons why someone might have irritable bowel syndrome. So we see all these different causes here. So we see environmental, so different bacteria, parasites, yeast. These are all bad gut bugs that can live in your guts and cause potential symptoms. Barrier integrity, that refers to the lining of the gut. You could have problems with that. You could have things called leaky gut syndrome. Digestive enzymes, maybe you're not producing enough digestive enzymes to break down your foods enough, so then when they get further in your system, they're causing upset stomach, upset bowels. Food sensitivities, perhaps you have a gluten intolerance or allergy, or you have lactose intolerance from dairy, and that's triggering your symptoms. Autoimmune conditions, things like ulcerative colitis and Crohn's, can lead to irritable bowel type symptoms. Hormones, especially abnormal female hormone levels, that can trigger these symptoms. And then inflammation in general, and that could be for a variety of reasons. Could be from the wrong foods, bad gut bugs, lots of other things. So you see, IBS doesn't just have one cause or a certain number of causes. It has a variety of different causes. So it's just not one, two, or three things like the commercials make it sound out to be, or like your doctor might make it sound out to be. So if you try to apply a fix for a certain cause, and that's not your cause, you're not going to get any better. In fact, it could make it worse. So if you're taking prebiotics because the bacterial environment in your gut is off, and you take those probiotics, it's going to work, and it's going to take care of your problems. If that's not your issue, if this one singular cause here is not your issue, probiotics aren't going to do much good at all. Same thing with prebiotics or fiber supplements. So everything this woman was doing, she was addressing the environmental part, just one block out of 7 different blocks here, 7 different causes. She was addressing one of them through everything she was doing right, so to speak. She's eating the right food, so maybe that addresses the food sensitivity. So maybe she gets 2 out of the 7, but she could have other issues yet. And in fact, even within this block, so even within the bacterial, the environment part, she's taking probiotics to help boost the numbers of good bacteria or good gut bugs. But if she has abnormal gut bugs, the probiotics might help a little bit, but it's not going to take care of the problem. So she continues to have problems. So basically, this woman that asked the question, she didn't know what she didn't know. She knew a small portion of what could happen with IBS. So she heard about maybe gut bugs, not enough good gut bugs. So that's why she was taking the probiotics. She knew that maybe fiber could be an issue, not getting enough fiber in your diet. So she was taking the prebiotics or the fiber supplements. Yet that wasn't helping her. But she was missing all of these other potential problems. She was missing the fact that she could have some abnormal gut bugs in there causing issues. So she has a parasite, for instance, and there's a number of different parasites. There's different types of worms, hookworm, roundworm, whipworm are things that we found in our patients. things like Giardia, which is a microscopic parasite, E. coli infections, which is a type of bacteria, Candida, which is a yeast. So she could be taking probiotics, taking fiber, eating all the right foods. If she's not addressing these abnormal gut bugs, she's still going to have problems. So again, she didn't know what she didn't know. She thought she was doing everything right. She was doing everything right within the knowledge base that she had. So I've created a whole presentation that talks about all of this stuff and more, because I want you all to know what you don't know so that you now know it. So if you're interested in learning more about this stuff and learning how to find out what may be wrong with you that's causing your IBS so that you can get rid of it or fix it and get rid of your IBS for good, click on the link above or below this video and join us for the presentation. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn all that information. You're going to learn about what we talked about this video and a lot more. So again, click above or below and we'll see you in the presentation.